Hey guys, it's Bear. It's Monday, May 20th, 2019, and this is the third video that I've made this afternoon, trying to update people about my basic military training experience and most specifically going through as a trans male. So check out the other videos and do all the liking and subscribing and stuff. I never really do that prompt because I'm not getting paid for these or anything like that. I just do this for personal satisfaction and to go ahead and try to help somebody else who may be going through a similar experience. So, by the way, the light in the other room keeps going off because we have the motion sensor taped over because it's really annoying when you try to get up in the middle of the night to go pee and it turns on or it triggers this overhead fluorescent light. So after however many minutes of it doesn't sense any movement, it turns off. Okay, so getting to some more really trans stuff about BMT. People have asked a lot about the shower and the bathroom situations, so I want to talk about that. It is one of the biggest concerns everybody has, and one of the most uncomfortable things about BMT, period. Whether you're transgender, cisgender, straight, gay, everything. Across the board, it seems like most people are really concerned about the fact that you are going to be naked in front of 50 other people. Because modesty. We live in a society that encourages modesty, and people have body concerns. Not a huge amount of people in our society are really happy about their bodies. Most people have something that they don't like about their bodies. And trans people, whoa, we definitely have a lot of stuff we don't like about our bodies. But also, when your gender identity doesn't align with your biological sex, and then you're put into a dorm full of people whose bodies do align with their biological sex and their gender identity, that didn't make a lot of sense. Whatever, what I'm trying to say is my body is different than biological males. I've been very clear about the fact that I have not had bottom surgery. And a lot of trans people are really worried that that's going to be a big deal. That I tap danced around that hardcore. But that's what it comes down to. Dealing with that, okay, so I mentioned in my last video that you do not get a lot of time to shower. And I knew that coming into this experience. So pretty much nobody's really staring at the people next to them. You are focused on getting yourself into that shower, cleaning as best as you can in I tried to keep my time in the shower limited to 90 seconds, 2 minutes at the max. And by the way, side note, another small piece of advice, you're never going to feel clean in basic training because you never get a longer shower than 2 minutes or so because you have such little time. Even towards the end, when we were getting a little bit more time to shower, you're still not getting more than 15 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. And that's not the shower, by the way. That's, like I said, that's getting undressed, showering, drying, getting redressed, and getting your night display, which is your uniform for the next day, hung up within standards. It's not just hung up in your bedroom. It's anyway. So yeah, everybody is really concerned with getting in that shower, getting their stuff done, and getting out. So nobody's really looking at each other. Also, inherently, there's a lot of homophobia, and people are just, and especially males, oh my god, are so scared to look at other males' bodies because they might be accused of being gay. And definitely the same thing was going on here. So people aren't really looking at each other's stuff in there. But one thing that I did, because I was nervous about it, was there's an area where you hang all your towels before you go into the big open bay shower, and it's kind of it's a cluster, because everybody's running to grab a towel and get themselves covered up. People were grabbing the wrong towels a lot, so my solution to not getting my towel taken and like keeping myself a little bit more covered so people didn't notice my body was to just take the towel into the shower with me. Yeah, it got a little bit damp from like, water spraying around and stuff, but there's like little shelves next to and in between the shower heads. So I would just like take my towel all the way in there, unwrap it, put it on that shelf, wash really quickly, grab that towel and throw it back over myself and get out of the shower to go and dry off. And I just like was really savvy and quick with that like little towel magic that I was doing. As far as like changing, you have a wall locker that opens this way. There's 2 doors to it, and then there's like a shelf on the one side. So I would kind of have my stuff like staged in there, and I would open those right away when I got back to my locker, and kind of step into that little like almost like a little private like booth area that those doors made, and I would kind of like face that, and dry off real quick and then get my underwear on. So I wasn't really ever exposed as far as like my genitals go to the rest of the flight. At some point, somebody may or may not have noticed, because like some gossip did start at one point, and I'll talk about that in a different video because that pertains to how and when I came out to my group. But like the open bay showers thing, like it's uncomfortable for everybody, and one thing that I noticed a lot of guys do was, first of all, you face the wall when you're showering, so you're getting a little bit of privacy there. But then when they would turn around to like rinse their backside, people would hold their hand over their crotch a little bit. So I just started doing the same thing. I've talked about in previous videos how being transgender, you pay attention to other people of your gender. Like I paid attention to cisgender guys in public a lot to try to make sure that I was mimicking their behaviors and characteristics so that I could pass early on. Same thing here. I was like, oh, guys don't want other guys looking at their bits, and so they're covering themselves. So I just did the same thing, and it didn't like strike anybody as abnormal. Nobody pointed out like, oh, you don't like want people to see you or whatever. No, because everybody was doing it. In short, don't be too nervous about it. Whether you're cis or trans or whatever, everybody is rushing to get through that shower. So yeah, but that little towel trick is really keen. If you're really, really nervous about it, take the towel in there with you, and just put it up on that shelf. And also, nobody ever at any point accidentally took my towel because I had it with me the whole time. Moving on. The bathroom situation. So the Air Force basic training is in Texas, and especially in the summer months, they're really concerned that you're staying hydrated. It is a very physical experience with PT 6 days a week, but also like you walk everywhere, and you're 99% of the time you're marching everywhere, which is just fancy walking, but it takes a little bit longer, so you're exposed to the heat and the sun and everything. So they are super strict about making sure that you are hydrated. They have a hydration schedule where you have to drink 3/4 to 1 bottle an hour, not to exceed 2 bottles per hour or 16 bottles per day, because you also don't want to overhydrate. There is such a thing as water toxicity, and that's dangerous. That's just as dangerous as being dehydrated. But they are really, really concerned for your physical well-being, and so they want to make sure that you are hydrating, like, well. And not many people are used to that, so the first, maybe 2+ weeks, because you're drinking so much more water than you're used to, you are also urinating way more than you're used to. So I feel like we probably asked to go to the bathroom every 45 minutes to an hour. And side note, another thing that some people are worried about is making sure that you get enough bathroom breaks. I've even seen questions where people are like, is it true that you might pee yourself in basic training? Well, yeah, you might if you don't ask to go to the bathroom. But again, they're really concerned that you stay healthy. They want to turn out a good product. They don't want to put people into the Air Force to just have them fail or get sick or get hurt. So they also don't want you holding your bladder because they don't want you to get sick. So if you are concerned about peeing yourself in basic training, you just need to learn to speak up. The only reason that you're going to pee yourself is if you don't ask to go to the bathroom. I got to tell you, never at any time was I told, or anybody else, no, you can't go to the bathroom. Raise your hand and ask to utilize the latrine, because that's what it's called. And they may ask, like, you know what, we're going to be done in like 5 minutes. Can you hold it, or is it an emergency? And there were times that people would be like, no, I got to go. And they'd be like, go. Take a wingman and go to the bathroom. But the bathrooms are always like really overcrowded because, each flight is 50 people. And if you think about more than one flight getting put on break at the same time, that's 100 or more people trying to hit a bathroom with like 8 stalls in it. So I have sung the praises of the Transthetics Easy Pee Stand to Pee device before, and I gotta tell you, I was allowed to take it with me to basic training. I did ask, and I was given permission to take it, and it was a godsend. I've got it sitting right here in case you haven't seen it. That's the device right there. Very, very comfortable, very, very soft. Sits in your underwear. You can see 2 other videos about it. But I'm really glad that I asked if I could take it because I use it with 100% confidence at urinals, and I was able to just go into bathrooms, use the urinal, and get out quickly. And when you have to pee like every 40 or so minutes, and everybody else has to pee that often, and those bathrooms are overwhelmed, let me tell you, that thing was a godsend. And I've actually messaged the guy that produces them and been like, I'm so glad that I have this thing. So that's kind of how I dealt with that. I never really had to wait for a stall, which drives a lot of trans guys crazy. A lot of times bathrooms have like a bunch of urinals and only like one stall, and we're kind of like always waiting for that stall. And having this device didn't put me in that position. So it was really a godsend. So that's my experience as far as showers, changing, and the latrine situation. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. It's been about 13 minutes. I hope that that answers people's questions satisfactorily, and if it doesn't, let me know, and I'm going to go ahead and answer a few more, and then I'll be done. So see you in the next one.